welcome to Comic Shop Team Up. I'm your host, Anthony Desiato, joined once again by the owner of Fat Moose Comics in Whippany, New Jersey, Shawn Hendricks. Welcome back.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Last time you joined us from the tricked out Fat Moose staircase. Now you are behind the counter on the main floor of the shop. What is that above your head there? That's very striking. That looks like a plaque of some sort. Yeah.
Somebody sent that to me. I don't know, some guy, he did some sort of documentary thing or something. No, that is very special. That's why it's on full display. You had that made for me when I first took over the store, and it says Shawn Hendricks, proprietor, Fat Moose Comics, established in 1982. And yeah, I love it, man. It's right there. Like when you're at the register checking out, it's right there. And
No,
then
that's
behind
awesome.
me, I have, this way. I can't figure out anything. That's my Stan Lee shrine there. I have multiple stands. I've got my little blinky Holy Trinity of Soups and Bats and Diana. Wait, that way. There we go.
Very nice. I dig it. So before we started recording, you said you had a story for me. Do you wanna share that now?
Oh, here's a good one. So, part of the joys of owning a comic shop. My diamond delivery comes every Tuesday, and it's COD, and that's fine. I like that. I stop at the post office every Tuesday. I get my money order. I say hi to Latasha. She's very nice, the lady who works behind the counter. And then Diamond shows up, and I give them the money order, and they piss off, and I get my books. So today, nothing out of the ordinary. It wasn't my usual UPS guy, George. George is great, good dude, but it wasn't him. But the guy came pretty early. He came before noon, which is rare. Usually I don't get the books till 2 or 3. I give him the money orders. Everything's fine. About 6 p.m. or whatever, I get a call from UPS saying, a package leaked onto your money orders and they're illegible and we can't use them. We can't send them in to Diamond. So you need to go tomorrow morning to the post office and get new money orders. And I said, well, that money's already been taken out of the bank. That's how money orders work. And I said, what do I do? I'm not paying twice. Like, I'm not going to. And it was a sizable bill this week. Not, anything like, let's say, Midtown Comics would have or whatever. But, for me, for a small store like me, it's a pretty large bill. And they were like, well, you go to the post office tomorrow morning and cancel that money order and then get new money orders and our driver will come by. And I'm like, wow, thanks for complicating my life. What were you delivering that leaked, and why is this my problem? So whatever, I resigned myself to the fate of I got to go to the post office and handle this. Literally within minutes of that phone call, I get a call from a neighbor, a local person, who said, hey, I saw some trash on my lawn and I picked it up and it's this money order for your store. It says Fat Moose Comics and it's written to Diamond distributors and it's, for not a small amount of money. Do you know anything about this? I was like, well, yeah, now that you mention it, UPS said that it got wet and it got damaged. So I said, if you can bring this to my store, please, I will give you whatever you want. I'll give you half the store. I don't care. Just please save me the trouble. So it wasn't damaged. It wasn't wet. It was nothing. It just somehow this guy, it fell out of his pocket. I don't know. So they were 5 minutes down the road. This nice couple came in and brought me the money orders, and they didn't want anything. I'm like, pick a book, take a toy, an action figure. Do you have grandchildren? Do you, just please, thank you so much. And they took a button. That was it. I have the official Fat Moose buttons
I
now.
know. I wanted to
There we
ask you
go.
about
Yeah.
those. That's awesome. I love it. And you got buttons and there was something else too, right?
I got stickers, buttons and stickers. Nicole had them made for there we go. Sorry, my chair's on wheels. So anyhow, this nice couple brought me the money orders. So now tomorrow when the UPS guy shows up, I hope it's the same guy. I'll recognize him. I can say, so what happened with the money? Oh yeah, I lost them. They got wet, and I can pull this out of my pocket and go, yeah, they're here. They're here. Don't lie. I don't know if he lied to his superiors and then they just lied to me, or
Right.
if he said I lost them and they concocted this thing like, oh, a package leaked. I'm like, what are you transporting? Urine samples? Like, what leaked onto? So yeah, it was just another one of those little moments of like, why am I doing this? It
Yeah,
was,
the joys of retail. Well, that's very
oh
nice.
my
That
God.
that good Samaritan couple who
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
really. I mean,
And
for them to find it, pick it up, reach out to you, bring it in. I mean, that was really very nice.
yeah,
That warms your
I
heart.
felt bad that I was trying to give them things. I'm like, do you want some books, an action figure? Do you have grandchildren? Do you know? And they were like, no, they just did a good deed, you know? And I had one of my regular customers, Mike, was here. He's like, see, man, that's karma. That's because you're putting out positive energy and it's coming back to you. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to believe that. I'm going to try to believe that. I think it's just, I got lucky. It just happened. But yeah, I really wasn't looking forward to dealing with it tomorrow. And now I don't have to. And now when that guy comes here, the UPS guy, I can shame him.
Yeah, you got him. You got
I'll be
him.
like, dude, what the hell? Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
To be continued,
yeah.
obviously.
Well, I'm glad that ultimately, it worked out and that you didn't have to go through all that hassle. But I'm sure for the period of time where it seemed like you did, that you would have to do
And,
that. I'm sure it was very
yeah.
stressful.
And it was literally like 5 minutes. 5 minutes after that phone call from UPS, this woman called me and said, I have your COD, your money order. So, but it was a rough 5 minutes. I'll give you
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
5 minutes of like, what else? What now? Like, God, for God's sake.
I wish we had taken photos. Maybe someone from alternate realities has them, but I kind of doubt it. I wish we had photos, or I wish you had just seen when like boxes would be missing from our shipment, or whatever the case may be, or came really damaged, like the box had been dropped or something like that, and we didn't have something for the shelf at the shop. Steve, the former owner, would would write his notes on cardboard as he always did, and they were very pointed at UPS. He would usually end them by saying like, "What can Brown do for you?" Or like, next time they ask you, oh, that's what it was. Next time, like Brown asks, like, next time they ask, "What can Brown do for you?" Like the answer is, "Put you out of business." That was always his thing. Yeah, yeah. Those are
I
classic
love
signs.
bitter Steve though. Bitter Steve is a fun Steve.
Yeah, again, always entertaining for sure. There's so much for us to cover. I wrote down a whole list of stuff, and it's like there's no way we're gonna get through all of
There's
this.
no way we're getting through. No,
No,
you had a plan. You have a plan.
it's not so much a plan. It was just like
Throw it right out the window.
honestly, just to kind of as little jumping off points. But in the last
All right.
episode, we talked about our birthdays. And I know that recently, your lovely girlfriend, Nicole, right? She had a birthday as well.
Back in February, yes.
It was that long ago. Time does fly.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I bring it up because I know for her gift, you got her a Cameo, a video message from Spike actor James Marsters.
Yes. And Brainiac
Yes, Brainiac. I know. How could
from
I lead
your
off with
show, yeah.
Spike? I know when he played Brainiac as
Well, yeah,
well.
she doesn't give a crap about him as Brainiac. She loves Spike.
Yeah, but that was a cool gift. I'm assuming she was pleased.
Oh, very happy. It's we've been together 12 years now. So it comes down to like, what the hell am I gonna get you? And she's got a very good job. She works her ass off. She's stressed all the time, but she makes money where if she wants something, oh, I want this pair of pants, I want this thing, I want that, she can buy them. So I have to get creative after all this time. And I buy her little knickknacks and little tchotchkes, and she's always like, "Oh, that's so cute. Please stop bringing more crap home." So I was like, "All right, what can I get her that doesn't take up space, but is personalized?" And the cool thing about Cameo is you can see examples of those people, their previous videos. So you can see some people are just phoning it in and just reading off a script. But James Marsters came across as very genuine. And then when you do a Cameo thing, you can basically write to them and be like, "Hey, please reference this or that." And I told him basically like, she just thinks you're great. She loves the Buffy in general, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She loves Spike. So, and he really knocked it out of the park. He came through in a big way. And it was, I think, like $65. It was very little. And it's something that, she can have forever. And I was very proud of myself. It was one of those last minute, like, what am I going to do? And I got her some other crap too, but yeah, the Cameo thing, seriously, there are so many, A to C list celebrities on there that it makes it's a pretty cool gift.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the Marshall's one was awesome. I did one for Steph last year for Mother's Day. I got her, again, not the most recognizable name, but Nicholas D'Agusto. He played. All right, so he played. Office fan. He played Hunter, Jan's assistant.
Oh,
yeah, one night, right? so that was an early role, but then he starred in a short-lived but brilliant. I mean, this show was so funny. It broke my heart that it got canceled. A short-lived NBC sitcom called Trial and Error, where he played an attorney in a small town. It was so funny. It only lasted 2 short seasons. But it was great. So we loved him on that. And he also played maybe one of his highest profile roles. Well, he was on Masters of Sex, the Showtime series with Michael Sheen and Lizzie Kaplan. He was on that for 1 season. And then he played briefly, he didn't stick around as long as I hoped he would, Harvey Dent on Gotham.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay. So I did that, and she was thrilled, and mostly from Trial and Error. Like we love that show so much. So she was excited to see him, and he, same type of thing, very reasonable price, and like he really, like, I mean, I don't know, it was 5 minutes, or like he really took his time with it. And and because you look at some of these and it's like this is not worth it. And I mean, the prices that some of these people are charging, it's like, I guess I get it. I mean, if you can command that price and it's more efficient for your time, right? You could do 2 of them at $500 instead of 10 of them at $100. It's like, I get it. But some of them, and look, for anyone who's paid for a really expensive cameo from someone, it's like, right on. And if that's worth it to you, like, I get it. That's cool.
Sure.
It's just from, like, I was looking at some of them, and honestly, there are some for myself. Like Tom Welling's on there now. Tom Welling.
Yeah.
And I
Wait,
think
who's that?
Yeah. I think he's at, like, I want to say 300 for, like a minute long message. It's not like, I just can't, I can't wrap my head around that.
My first thought for Nicole's present was, I know Brian Baumgartner, Kevin from The Office. He was on there, but it was kind of pricey. Yeah. And, I went through, I spent a lot of time going through the list of every possible person. But when I saw James Marsters and I watched his examples of the videos he's made, I'm like, oh, this guy's all in. Like, he's cool. He's going to personalize it. And like I said, for under $100, I was like, yeah, this is absolutely the way to go. And yeah, she loved it. And I'm glad. It was kind of, like I said, after 12 years together, you're like, what can I possibly do that we haven't done yet? And it worked. It worked. This has now become an official commercial for Cameo. Give us money.
Yeah, I know. We keep plugging all the stuff that we don't get paid for, but
Wild Turkey,
yeah,
Cameo. What else? Who else can we get sponsorship from?
I don't know. We'll see what comes up organically.
Mercedes-Benz. Somebody. I could use a new car.
I know, but no, I'm with you. I mean, Steph and I have been together 8 years, so not 12, but it's been a long time, and
it's still,
it gets challenging, and especially over this pandemic era where some of the experiences that we would typically give each other as gifts, which sounds sounds like something else. I mean, like tickets to a show, that sort of thing.
Well, there's when it was Nicole's birthday, back in February, I said, what would you like to do? She goes, well, what can we do? It's just a matter of, you're kind of limited, especially if you're being smart and being careful, so we just kind of chilled out, had a few drinks together, and watched James Marsters.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So it's like you have to get creative. So like Cameo, really came in handy. The other thing too that's challenging is, especially now that we've been married and all of our finances are commingled here, that gets real hard too. It's like I can't order her something from Amazon because she will see it the next time she signs into
Well, see,
Amazon.
how do you not have a separate like secret account?
I mean, yeah,
Just a little.
I know, but it's tough because it's like I have the Prime shipping, so it would. So again, I mean, and it's not a deal breaker, but it's like it does make it more complicated, right? Because yes, I could have a separate account, but unless I want to pay for a separate Prime account, then I'm stuck with
Right.
regular shipping, and it's like, no. I mean, once you get used to
See,
Prime shipping, it's like, come on.
oh yeah. Well, Nicole and I we're not married. We have separate bank accounts and everything. But it's funny. Speaking of that, I have a few regular customers who I shall not name, just in case their wives are watching, who will come in for their books every week and be like, "All right, how much is it? All right, here's $40 cash, and put the rest on my card." So when their wife sees the receipt, they're like, "Oh, you only spent this much," and it's like, "Well, I actually spent quite a bit more, but
Right.
it's I'm not going to call them out." But
Hey,
it's not uncommon though, where they're like, "All right, let me give you this much in cash and put the rest on the card." And when my wife sees the statement, she won't realize I actually spent this much instead of that much, and you know,
I mean, I would see stuff like that at alternate. I mean, there were customers who, would like be hiding out in the store and like their wives would come in and, tell them it was time to go. There was one customer who I don't remember his name. He was a nice guy, but man, like, and I don't mean to make light of this, but like he clearly hated his marriage. I mean, it's like anytime he came in, there was always some kind of comment, and it was sad, honestly, more than anything else. But there would always just be some commentary, and I don't know, maybe that was just his way of venting, and it actually wasn't that bad. I don't know, but I remember, and especially like as a college kid at the time, I remember it's like, oh man, like is that what it's like? It sounds awful. So thankfully that hasn't been my experience, but yeah, man, this guy, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that. I don't know what
I
his current
actually,
situation is, but
well, speaking of that, I have a regular box holder. Comes in every week. Really nice guy, kind of a wise ass, but in a fun way. We break balls. It's what you do. But he always complains about his wife, to the point where I'm like, wow, she sounds like a villain. Like she just sounds. And then a few weeks ago, she came in with him. And usually she's either home or she's waiting in the car, but he brought her in and she was lovely. Like she was so friendly. And the whole time I was like, all right, so either she's putting on a false face and just playing the game and being friend, or he's misinterpreting. I don't know, but it was one of those things where she came in with him like, oh, here comes the bad person that he's always complaining about. And she was so nice. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
Perception is everything.
You mentioned, I don't know if it was this episode or I think the last one, that your customers like when you mention them. So I'll kick us off here. Your customer Octavia,
Octavia, oh, she's awesome. Yeah,
Octavia, and
Octavia
then
and Nick,
and Nick.
her
So
husband Nick. Yeah.
without sharing too much about their lives, but I mean, what's
Well,
the
here's their social security number.
yeah.
Ready? It's 15.
No, but like, did they start? I guess I'm curious. Did they start shopping at the store together as a unit? Did they meet at the store? Was one of them a customer first and brought the other one in? Like, how did that develop?
No, they came together. I think they met through like a dating app or something, if I remember correctly. But no, they showed up as a couple, and it's funny because they have a son, and he's less than a year old, I believe. They they came to one of my gigs, obviously months ago, and basically told me like, yeah, we're gonna have a baby, and like I was one of the first people to know. I was so like, oh my god, that's so great. But Nick and Octavia, they've been so cool and like so supportive. Nick has been, over the lockdown, he would take home a long box, beg me, he's like, please let me take home a box and I'll price it for you. And he would print out spreadsheets of the approximate value and everything. And Octavia, it keeps bugging me for a job. And I said, well, I can't pay you and you have a baby. But she's like, yeah, I can still do some hours. And they're both super nice, super genuine people, and fairly new to reading comics, to the point where they're like, recommend some stuff. Let's try this. Let's try that. And they're both in your movie,
Yeah,
My Comic Shop Country.
that's right.
Yeah, no, they're really like, they'll just call up, be like, "You need something? You hungry? We'll bring you food. You need help with something?" And like, just really super nice people. And their son, Alex, I hope it's Alex. I hope I didn't get that wrong. He's adorable.
Very, yeah, I'm friends with Octavia on Facebook, and I've seen, and yeah, adorable baby, and yeah, they both seemed awesome. I mean, yeah, I met them, for the filming, and yeah, it's always funny, and I've talked about this in other shows, but when you talk to people who are newer to comics, like, I don't know, it kind of, well, on the one hand, maybe it makes you feel a little old, but also, it puts it into perspective.
Oh, like you feel old. Okay, all right, great. I got credit card debt older than you. So.
Oh, this is so okay. So on that note, I share this with you. So okay, all right, let me do some quick math. When this episode comes out, okay, so available now, as you're watching this, available now is the Mother's Day installment of My Comic Shop History, featuring my mother in her podcast debut. And, by now people perhaps will have already heard this, but my mother, once the pandemic is over, she, because in the episode we talked about how she used to when I was a kid, she would take me to all these comic shops around Westchester. And, were it not for that, we might not be having this conversation, because had I not had a means to get to these stores, that might have been it for me. So we talked about that, and she was saying that, she misses having that experience, and she wants me to take her to Fat Moose Comics. Out of all and she's seen the documentary, she's seen all the stores. That was the one. Fat Moose Comics was the one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm flattered.
And
did I meet your mother at the screening in Yonkers?
Yeah, you probably. I mean, she was there. Probably. I mean, I don't know if you guys spoke, yeah. but possibly. But then around that time, I think not on the podcast, but separately, we were chatting.
She slipped me her phone number, and I thought that was a little weird. But
our perfect segue, because when we were talking about it, and she brought it up again, like off the podcast, that she wanted to do this, and I was like, okay. And I think I mentioned that it was your birthday coming up, and I think she said, like, oh, how old is he? And I told her, she could not believe it. So again, you remain the freshest faced. She thought you were a lot younger than you are.
No, it's all falling apart, sir.
No,
I hit the wall. It's funny. Nicole, sometimes she'll see me in the bathroom downstairs, from the living room. Unless you shut the door, there's a straight eye line to the bathroom. She's like, "You're looking at yourself in the mirror. What are you, like, admiring yourself?" Like, no, I'm looking for damages. I'm looking for errant hairs sticking out of my eyebrows or my nose. Like, I just, it's constant maintenance of, like, oh yeah, you're not a kid anymore. You got this weird eyebrow hair sticking out or something.
No.
It's not vanity, it's maintenance.
Fair enough. Well, we had talked about that in one of the earlier installments about you taking care of yourself. So you look good, you look healthy, and that's Thanks. The important thing. You're still smiling. You're still smiling, and I know your tenure as owner isn't that long, but there you go. All right, but still,
everybody needs their medicine.
But you've been working at the store, so you have a long history as in comics retail, and I feel like you're year and a half almost. During this time, there's probably some kind of conversion chart. Like, if you take over a shop at the start of a pandemic, a year and a half is really, feel like 5 years. I feel like that's
dog
probably
years. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's a reasonable conversion. So you look good, and I'm glad to see that. And I think that's going to do it for this installment. All right. So Shawn and I will be back in 1 week. And until then, don't call on a Wednesday.